That's right, guys. Today we're going to be adding a power door lock switch to the inside of the cab. I don't want to be using the key fob when I get in here. I also don't want to be pushing the little door locks up and down as I'm inside of the truck, because that's going to mess with the motors as well. So we want to have a nice little switch that we can just press, lock the truck, or press and unlock the truck from inside of it. Now, if you've seen that rat's nest here, you do have to kind of remove this and get access to your control box. If you haven't watched my video, go ahead and check it out right here on the top. But I put my box right here in the center. So we have two cables that we need to have access to, which is going to be a brown one and a white one. And then we're going to add our button into it. Now, I know you've probably seen online some buttons kind of like this. And initially, I thought this is what we would need, but I could never find a right one that would fit right into the spot here. And that's where I wanted to put it initially. But it turns out that our system is a little bit more simple than this. So we're not going to need this. We are going to need a lot simpler button, which is something like this. Now this is going to be a button that resets itself. So when you press it, it goes back to the starting position. And that's really all we need. This also has a nice little LED ring on it. I went with a red one to match my truck. But they do have all the colors, so check out the link down in the description to pick up this exact same button, so that way you can do the exact same install as I have here. Now, if you don't know how to remove the center console stuff, real simple, just a couple bolts on one side and a couple bolts on the other one, and get it out. Most likely you won't have this mess. I have a lot of lights, audio stuff, and everything in here. But if you do have a mess, just make sure you don't mess anything in there, no pun intended. And make sure you put everything back to how it is. So we are going to get to work. We are going to show you right now what I'm going to do. But real briefly, before I get into that, I want to talk about this little drawer here. You've probably seen it on the background of my videos for quite some time. I actually 3D printed this, I made it, and I'm going to be offering it on my website. So check out flakegarage.com. You're going to have a couple options, B2000, B2200, and a few other things that you guys can pick up if you choose to. So that is one way to support the channel, and you also get a cool little thing here to put in your Mazda B series. So go ahead and check out flakegarage.com, and you can find that in there. But let's jump into doing some work. Alright guys, so if you've done the steering wheel removal like I have in one of my other videos, you can check that one on the top as well. If not, hopefully you don't have a steering wheel here to be on the way. But what we're going to do next now is remove our bezel here around the cluster, just so we can have access to this panel, because we got to remove it. Now, if you can kind of see here, that is going to be the spot for our new button. It's perfect. It's always like it was meant to be. I mean, you have a round spot. This is going to fit perfect in there. We might have to shave it off a little bit, the plastic behind it, but otherwise it's going to be perfect there. That way we have easy access to press it, lock the doors, and unlock them. So let's go ahead and remove some of that. Again, super easy, just a couple Phillips screw heads here, and then we should be able to remove the one holding this side, and then just a little tab here. Make sure you pull this one out so that way you don't rip it. Just we got to remove that, and then I'll show you the next step. And just like that, we have removed the panel. This is what we needed. Great time to clean the back of it. You can see it's pretty dusty now. But another thing, I wanted to tap into the illumination here with the top one. I forgot I had already tapped into it. I think this is the connection that I did for the clock to make sure it auto dim whenever we turn on the lights. So we might have to find either a different spot. I don't think I want to double tap into it, but we'll see. If anything, we can just go down here to the fuse box maybe and tap into something down there perhaps, but we'll have to kind of look into that. Now that we're good, let's move on to the table and I'll show you here what we need to do. All right, guys, so we have cleaned up here as best as we could, at least better than it was before. You can kind of see that fell off there, but this is just held in place by two little tabs. So make sure you pop them from the back and you should be able to remove this. And then we should have space now to put our button in there. Now, it's not going to fit exactly. As you can kind of see, we don't have a perfect circle here. So we do have to shave off just a little bit, enough to make this go all the way in there and sit in place. You don't want to shave off too much because we don't want to be moving around and everything. So just do very carefully, do a little bit, test it, do a little bit, test it until it fits perfect, and then add the nut on the back of it. Now, as far as the cable goes, you have a lot of cables here and it might look a little intimidating, but we really only need this four. The green one we're not going to use at all, so you can kind of cut this off or leave it to the side. The white one and the yellow one are the ones that are going to be locking the door. So white one is going to go with the white cable inside of the truck. Yellow is going to go with the brown cable inside of the truck. And then the red and black here is going to be just a ground and the power for the LED light that the button has. So we got to find a source that's going to give us lights when the lights are on and not any other time, because we don't want to drain the battery, obviously. So super simple here. The two cables here will have to be extended, obviously not long enough to reach all the way to the center console. So you will have to adapt a little bit of cable here and route it wherever you need to. You don't have to put it in this spot if you don't want to. You can put it closer to the center console if you wish, but I think this is going to be the perfect spot, and that's what I'm going to go with. So let's get to work. Check it out, guys. After removing just a tiny bit of material out of the center, that is fitting in there like a glove. This is chef's kiss. Great, look at that, beautiful. It's gonna look perfect inside of the truck. So we are now basically ready, done with this part, ready to go and add some wiring to the harness on the back so we can start routing that wiring and connecting the power, the ground, and then into our central box. All right, so I found some cable here that luckily has a very distinct difference between them. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna plug it here into my white one and my yellow one. Mine has a white stripe, so I'm gonna make sure I have the white with the white stripe and then the yellow one on the other side. And that way I can route all of this cable. Should be enough to get it to the central lock box and connect it to the white and brown cable. So I'm gonna do that first, and then I'm gonna move on into this one and see if I actually need, I think there's something close by to where I might not need to adapt anything else to this one's, but we'll check here in a minute. One little area you're gonna have to remove some material as well is gonna be this backside, just because the nut that holds the button in place is gonna go against that, and it might just push and not let it lock completely all the way. So keep that in mind. You might have to just come in and remove a little bit of material just to account for that. If you don't mind this being just a little bit raised, honestly, it's not very visible, so you can live with it. You can just leave it as is. And just to show you real briefly, this is how much I had to expand mine, just so it could sit flush with the panel, how OEM is, and then have no issues on the back of it. So outside of that though, we should be able to put this panel on there and look good. All right, my guys, so we're over here with the harness and trying to get everything routed. Now, I did connect the two cables, like I said earlier, the black and white here for the white and brown really cables that are going to be connected over here by the control box. So those are in place. Now, because I couldn't find another good lighting option here, you guys saw earlier that I had one connected in here. I believe this is for my cluster. Same thing, it's just an illumination basically wire. So what I ended up doing, and I hate to do it, but I ended up combining both of them, the illumination from this harness for the button and the illumination that's going to be going over there to the clock in the cluster, just because most likely you won't have that one here, and that'll be a great spot on this harness. If you're looking at it straight like this, basically the bottom one here is the one you need, and that's where this little plug is. That's going to the bottom here on the harness. I know it's kind of hard to see because the cables are all tangled up, but that's the one you're going to tap into if you don't have anything there. Because I had it, and again, it was kind of flimsy already. I did a somewhat bad job crimping it. It kind of came off when I was moving it around, so I figured might as well just crimp both of them in there, and it shouldn't be a big deal. Again, this little button is just a little ring light. It's not going to draw a lot of power. It shouldn't be a problem. So hopefully we're going to be right there, all good. Now, for the ground here, again, I also couldn't find like a good bolt that I can hook into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the ground here. I attach a new cable, a little bit different color as well, so I can keep all separated. But we have this. We're going to run this all the way to the center as well, and just kind of use one of the ground points that I've been using down here. This is a great grounding section because there's like bare metal straight to the chassis and everything. So I'm just going to run it all the way over here and then just ground it here with the bolt right into the bare metal of this piece, and we should be pretty much good. So everything else is looking good here. Let me just route the wiring. I was going to go through the back of the dash here on top of the column and just drop it over here so we can connect our brown and white wire. All right, so I go ahead and ground it. You can see that little gray cable there. That is my ground. And then I went ahead and added my other connectors here. Now we're just going to add, again, because I'm using a cable that's black with white and one that's solid black. The black with white is connected to the white one. So we're going to match that with the white one back here. And then the all black one should be connected to the yellow one. And we're going to match that one with the brown one. And then we should be pretty much good to go. We can test it out after that and start putting everything back together. All right, I gone and put everything back together, taped up some of this so it's not just hanging here. Everything's going to be pushed back here so we can put the stereo back in place. And now if we move over here, I went ahead and plugged the button. We want to go ahead and test it out, make sure it's actually working. Okay, now with the button there, let me just go ahead and turn on the lights. You can kind of see the ring comes on, which looks awesome. And then if we push it, so let me go over here, we're going to be looking at our door. If we push it, locks. If you push it again, unlocks. So it is working perfect there. All we got to do just is put all the dash and everything back in place. So make sure it looks all nice and neat, and the button should be working. So now when you have your lights, you're going to know exactly where the button is. Once you don't have them on, it'll just come off. So that way you're not wasting battery. And then anytime you press it, it should unlock or lock the doors. So there you have it, guys. We have hooked up everything back in place. The button is there and working great. Everything back here is nice and tidy. And again, if you press the button, your doors are going to lock. If you press it again, they're going to unlock. So no matter what position they're on, it's going to do the opposite, and it's always going to do that. So you don't have to worry about up and down. Working great, awesome. You also have illuminations here, so whenever it's at night, you're going to know exactly where that button is. It looks nice and cool and red there, exactly what I wanted. So the installation, super easy. The button's not very expensive. I'll link down at the bottom of the description so you guys can pick up this button if you want exactly. And they also have a couple of different colors. So if you were trying to go for a different color theme, you can definitely choose from the buttons available. So there you have it, guys. That's how you install a power lock switch into your Mazda B2000. And honestly, you can put this on any truck, a Mighty Max, a Nissan Hardbody, Toyota pickup. If you install the same kit that I did on the power lock video, then if you get the same button that I have right now, and as long as you hook up to the same wires that I show you, this should work on any truck, no matter where you put it. Now on the Mazda B series, it looks perfect. It looks like it was meant to be on that one spot. I don't know exactly what's supposed to be there from factory, maybe an alarm or something like that. I really don't know, but it works perfect with the button that we have. So it just looks OEM, honestly, in there. So it looks awesome. That's really all I have for you today, guys. So hopefully you like what I'm doing. If you want to see more videos on mods to the Mazda B series and other mini trucks, check out the channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit a like, leave a comment down below to let me know your thoughts, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.